Hello and welcome to Women in the Coaching Arena podcast. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Lott, a business mentor and ICF accredited coach, and I help coaches to build brilliant businesses. I know that when you prepare to enter the arena, there is fear, self-doubt, comparison, anxiety, uncertainty. You can tend to armor up and protect yourself from vulnerability. In this podcast, I'll be sharing honest, not hype, practical and emotional tools to support you to make the difference that you're here for. Dare greatly, you belong in this arena. Welcome to the 100th episode of Women in the Coaching Arena. I am so glad you are here. I cannot actually believe that this is my 100th episode, so I'm assuming I've been doing this for nearly 2 years now. And when I started the podcast, I had no idea that it would completely revolutionize my business. I just had too many ideas and too little outlets that I really wanted a way of sharing my thoughts and experiences to help more coaches to really step into the arena with confidence. I adore the Brené Brown quote, which is where the podcast title came from, which is, "If you are not in the arena getting your ass kicked, I am not interested in your feedback." Because when I started my business, I got a lot of abuse for being in the arena. People trying to make me feel shame in, "Oh, look at you, always popping up every time I pop on LinkedIn. There you are." And it's like, yeah, because I'm trying to grow my business. So if I would have let those voices stop me and shame me into not showing up for myself, for my clients, for my business, then I would not have a business now. So if you are experiencing any of the same worries, fears, doubts from negative people who are trying to keep you small, this is your reminder to keep going and know that if they are not in the arena too, you are not interested in their feedback. Something I've heard a lot of successful people say is that you'll never find someone who is ahead of you criticize you. And it's so true. The only people who do that are the people who are far too scared to go after their own dreams and show up for themselves and for their business. I am grateful to you for listening, reviewing, and sharing this podcast. I was delighted to be number 4 in the podcast marketing charts in 2024 and to be now one of the top 2.5 podcasts of all podcasts globally, which is amazing. So it's all thanks to you, and I appreciate you. So I'm really excited to be announcing a challenge for you on this 100th episode to really celebrate success with you. But first, I wanted to share my top 3 lessons from 100 episodes. So the first one is simple actions compound over time, just like this podcast has done, just doing it week in, week out. And that week comes around pretty quick, I can assure you. But due to doing that, the numbers have risen, the podcast has grown. I've been able to build relationships with more people and hopefully make your day just a little bit better and more productive than it was before. So the lesson for you to take from this is small, steady steps create brilliant momentum. It's hard to see it at the time. And I know from working with the most amazing clients that it's easy to do something for a month or 2 and then feel like, oh, it's not working and want to switch. And don't get me wrong, my numbers were super low when I started this podcast. So I'm just the same as you, having to push through thinking, why is my podcast not as good as everybody else's? And you just have to keep on going. There's somebody I know who does similar to me, and she has an amazing podcast. And there was that tiny hint of envy that hers is, I think, in the top 1%. And then I realized she's had her podcast for 7 years. I've only been at this for 2 years. So I have no right to be in the top 1% at this stage. It's going to take a lot more work, a lot more consistency, getting way better at it. And that's okay. Have a think about where you can stop comparing yourself and look at that full picture of where someone is successful and what's really gone into that success. Have they been posting 7 days a week on social media for 5 years to get those followers? Or have they shown up in a really big way and never missed a day? Have they sent thousands and thousands of cold DMs to gain those corporate clients? You don't always know what's going on in the background, so always keep that pinch of salt with everything you hear and those envious feelings when they come up, and know that is just the tip of the iceberg and there is a lot more to their results than that. My second learning is mindset and gratitude is your fuel. You can have the best strategy in the world and try and do the same as everybody else. But what I've noticed is it's really about your own confidence. That's not to say that you can't achieve this, because I wouldn't say I've been a super confident person in my life. But I think I've grown that confidence through action. So if you are ever doubting it, ask yourself, if I believed 100% that I am capable of this, how would I act today? And go out there and take those actions. My final learning is visibility is key. The more people who see you, hear you, and learn about what you offer, the faster you will grow your client base. I started my mastermind yesterday, which was wonderful. And one of my clients said something really insightful, which I probably didn't even tell her was insightful at the time, but hopefully she's listening to this and recognizes it in her own words, which was, I already know what's working. Why don't I just do double the amount of that to get double the amount of income? And it's so, so true. We all can get taken off in these shiny objects thinking, oh, well, maybe I'll launch an online course or I'll do something completely different. How about just doing more of what you're already doing that is actually working? And that is the simple key to your success. If 200 people are seeing your LinkedIn post, how would it feel if 400 people were seeing your LinkedIn post? Would you gain more interactions, more clients, more direct messages? Yes, I would estimate that you would. So how can you keep increasing the amount of people that you are getting in front of every single day? These lessons have been covered time and time again throughout our 100 episodes, and I've thought long and hard about what I should create for my 100th episode, and I wanted to therefore invite you into a brand new challenge to help you apply these lessons right away. So the aim of this episode is to help you to sign at least one paying client in 2 weeks. This is a 5-step process to get you a client in the next 2 weeks. Our first step is to set the intention. So think about the money goal you want to set, but most importantly, think about what you want to do with that money. So I've shared on this podcast before that the best money I ever earned was £2,000 for a new front door. And I could really visualize that front door that I wanted so desperately. And therefore, I took huge action to go out and get it. So if you are not particularly money driven for money's sake, then think about what exactly you will treat yourself to with that money. Now think about how you're going to feel when you receive that money. Just really imagine, like seeing my front door is what I used to imagine. What is going to happen for you, and allow yourself a few minutes to feel into it. Next step is to get that plan together. So who are you selling to and what are you selling? If you are struggling with your niche, then you can listen to episode 14, which is 5 steps to find a profitable niche. If you aren't sure how to create an offer, you can listen to episode 10, which is on how to create a signature coaching program. Set your deadline for people to buy this. So if you want to take part in this challenge, it will really help you to have a deadline for people to purchase your offer. Think about the consequences that are going to take place if someone doesn't buy your offer. So are they going to stay stuck? Are they going to look back in a year's time and wish they had started today? Really think about those consequences and start mentioning them in your marketing. I would also love you to add some bonuses to your offer to make it compelling for someone to take action now. These bonuses will really help people to make a decision. For example, if you are a career coach, you might want to do a free review of somebody's LinkedIn profile or CV. Think about what the right complimentary bonus is for you. Okay, step 3 is to take action. So now you know why you want it, you know who you're selling to, you know what you're selling. Now is the time to go out and make it happen. This is going to take a lot more action than you expect. The biggest threat to entrepreneurship is everyone thinking it's easier than it is. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And probably 1% of all people are entrepreneurs, and most are employees, because entrepreneurship is hard. It requires you to take lots of action all by yourself with no consequences if you don't take that action, other than the fact that you won't get to build the business of your dreams. So go out there and commit to being the most helpful person in a Facebook group, for example. Be that person who comments and supports on 50 LinkedIn posts in one day. Anything you can do to get in front of new people. Is there an event you could speak at? Could you contact someone with a group program or membership or something along those lines and suggest you doing a talk? What can you do to ramp up your visibility? It used to be said that people need to see your offer 7 times to buy. That is nearer 21 times now. So if you are thinking, I'll put one post out saying, here's my offer, then just know that that's not enough. We all live such busy lives now. We all expect to be reminded again and again and again. So it's going to take a lot more action than you are expecting. But the best thing is, you know that now, and you are prepared to go out there and take that action, knowing that the energy you put in will be the energy that you get out. Our fourth step is to close actively, not passively. After you put that offer post out, don't shrink hiding under the bed because nobody commented or nobody liked your post. Show up time and time again for your dreams. Show those naysayers that you can and will achieve this. Keep thinking about the objections that your ideal clients have for not moving forward. Handle those objections in your content, in your email, or any other marketing that you do. And your fifth and final step is to receive. Allow yourself some time at the end of this challenge to relax, to switch off, to tune into you, to get out there in nature, meditate, exercise. Allow yourself to do that and celebrate the work you have put in. This is not about celebrating the results one way or another. The more you celebrate your actions and the work you do, the more you will do that work. Therefore, the more likely you will be to get that result. So send me a LinkedIn message on LinkedIn as Joanna Lott if you are going to take this challenge. I would love to hear your goal, your deadline, and I will follow up with you in 2 weeks' time to see how you got on. And because we are celebrating 100 episodes of this podcast, I'm adding an extra fun competition to thank you for listening and to get you sharing this milestone with others. There are 3 different ways that you can take part in the competition to win a one-to-one session with me. The first one is to rate and review the podcast. If you are an Apple listener, you can review. If you are a Spotify or different listener, then I think you can only rate. If you've done this already, then the second way you can enter the competition is to share this podcast on social media. You can find the link to share in your favorite podcast app, or I'll also include the link in the show notes of this episode. And the third way you can enter is by joining our Client in 14 Days challenge that I've outlined in this episode. So do drop me a line. Let me know that you are up for the challenge. I cannot wait to follow you and see you take huge action. You can enter multiple times. So if you want to do all 3 of these actions, so rate and review, share on social media, and enter the competition, then I will enter you into the draw 3 times. I will do the draw on video and put all of your names into a hat, and cannot wait to see who I will spend a one-to-one session with. Remember to keep me posted on whether you take these actions, because I might not see them. So do drop me a LinkedIn as Joanna Lott or email as joanna@joannalottcoaching.com to let me know, for example, if you've rated and reviewed, if you've shared, or if you are joining the Client in 2 Week challenge. Thank you for being here today. We celebrated my learnings of 100 episodes that you can take forward into your own business. We talked about a new challenge, Get a Client in 14 Days, and how to start taking those 5 steps to land a paying client quickly. And I outlined a competition to rate, review, share the podcast, and also join our Get a Client in 14-Day challenge. So I would love to leave this episode reminding you to celebrate all of your progress to date. I started my mastermind yesterday and I said to them how amazing they are for being so successful in business. There are people there who are years and years into business, and I'm in awe of how they have maintained their energy and built their business over so many years. But many of them hadn't really stopped to realize how far that they have come. So allow yourself that time today and congratulate yourself for stepping into the arena and serving your clients who desperately need you. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for supporting this podcast, supporting me as a small business owner, and trusting me with your one precious resource, which is your time. So, like I say at the end of every episode, trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seeds. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Women in the Coaching Arena. I have a mass of free resources on my website, joannalottcoaching.com. That's Joanna with an A and Lott with 2 T's, joannalottcoaching.com. And I'll also put links in the show notes below. Let me know if you found this episode useful, share it with a friend and leave me a review, and I will personally thank you for that. Remember to trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seed. Get into the arena, dare greatly and try.